Hey, aren't you Joe Dez?
Never heard that name in my life. If I had, I'd bet his back.
Hello, welcome to episode 28 of the Joe Dez Hour, the first of the summer. And for the first of the summer, we decided to bring back an old friend, Jay Paulette. Call him back. Jay, you're right up here. Don't worry. Not just going to be your back this entire time.
All right.
Coming back in now. Coming in fifth in a bodybuilding competition. Jay, you've come quite a long way. Can you give the audience a little bit of a timeline of how you got to this place?
Yeah, for sure. So 2 years ago, about, honestly, 3 days ago, it's been 2 years. So I just kind of got bored. Half of it was boredom, half of it was just me, sort of sick of how I looked. I sort of saw myself a certain way my entire life, and I kind of just decided that, I kind of want to make a change. I felt like it was just best for my body in general, best for my health, for me to sort of start caring more about, what goes into my body, what I do, just not sitting around playing video games all day. So it was just kind of a thing I wanted to do, and I started falling in love with it, so it just took over my life.
Yeah, really have come forward. Got the stats up now. Fifth place in the OCD Men's Pro Qualifier at the Cape Cod Classic, weighing in at 177, bench press 245, squat 405, deadlift 445. Part of the 1,000-pound club. Was that a special achievement that kind of meant a lot to you?
Yeah. Nothing honestly meant more than the first 225 bench press. That was just an unbelievable feeling. It was, the first one was the ugliest rep I think I've ever seen in my life. My ass was shooting off the air like you read about, but it was just a special moment. I've always, my bench press was never, or any of my lifts in general were never really anything to be proud of. So really hitting those big numbers, the 1,000-pound club meant a lot, but the 225 bench really, I wanted more after that.
Jay, I think you saw me in middle school a couple times. I used to be skinny kick to a point, ended up lifting. Kind of very terrible when you're part of that club. You don't really want to be part of it. People call you skinny as a compliment. You're kind of heartbroken by it. It's terrible.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's not a fun time. How did it feel to kind of just having that confidence that you have now? You can exuberate it when you walk in the room. You can see the difference when I talk to you.
Honestly, man, it was so much more than my body for a transformation. I mean, the body's just part of it, but just mentally, the confidence I sort of feel now, I don't feel, scared to be who I am. I'm really putting myself out here more, and it's just a confidence thing in general. It just made me a happier, overall, more energetic person.
Yeah. Has it transferred in any other facets of life besides bodybuilding and lifting? Has it kind of just pushed you harder than anything else?
I mean, absolutely. The hard work that it takes in general to just stay consistent. I sort of applied that to all the other things I do as a student, as, a friend, a family member, just really making sure everyone's always good, just really focusing on, improving myself and improving everyone else.
Yeah, when you constantly improve, there's really no way that you can reach rock bottom. If you're constantly climbing, you won't go down.
Absolutely.
Was there anyone in your life who kind of pushed you in the direction that you're going right now with lifting?
Honestly, absolutely. I really look up to my parents. They've been supporting me my whole life, and it was definitely a shock to them when I told them that I wanted to stop playing basketball and pick up just going to the gym. And, they gave me that look too, what the hell do you want to go to the gym for? You're 130 pounds. So they were supportive of me throughout the entire way. And my dad actually started the journey with me. We both agreed that 2 years ago we were gonna start going to the gym together. And, my dad dropped 60 pounds and I gained 60 pounds. Well, at a point. But it was really cool to see. It was really cool to, for once in my life to sort of be like an influence for my dad. It was just a really special moment because I looked up to him my entire life, and I look up to my mom too. But to have my dad go through the same journey as I did really meant a lot to me.
There's something special too with your dad. A lot of kids get taught sports by their dad. When you're doing it with your dad like that, it must have been so special.
It was really nice. We were both sort of doing our own thing when it came to because he was trying to lose weight, I was trying to gain weight. But just in general, of us both being satisfied with, our results that we see in the mirror, being satisfied with our results on the scale, it was really special.
So, Jay, one thing I really want to go into, you talked about the bodybuilding competition a little bit earlier. Can you lead us through the hallways, through the spray tans, everything you had to go through there? Because that has always interested me. I don't know if you know about it. I had a series called Joe Dez Takes on Michigan for a little bit. I was doing a different challenge every week. I tried my hardest to get into a bodybuilding competition. No training. I was just going to walk up, see what happened. It cost like $400. I couldn't do that.
Oh, yeah. No, they are definitely pricey. So I signed up for a natural competition for my first one because I didn't want to be on stage with people who were all pinning, especially, you know, being in the time for as long as I was in. But yeah, so I signed up for it online. I got an ad on Instagram and it sort of interested me. So I looked up, researched more about it, and they were just doing a show in Cape Cod. So it was about $120 for me to enter, just to, you know, get my name on the board. And then it was an additional 30 if I wanted to do any other categories, but I was satisfied with just the, you know, just the category I was in. But I mean, it was a struggle. So I entered the competition around November. I was weighing around 196 pounds. And at February, which was the end of the peak of my bulk, I got all the way up to about 206 pounds. So I definitely put on a lot of weight. I wasn't really satisfied with how I was looking, but I did about a 12-week cut where when I was at the peak of my bulk, I was eating about 5,000 to 6,000 calories a day. Really, you know, just anything. Carbs were in the thousands some days. Protein 300 to 400. Even the fat, I packed all that on, but it was about a 12-week cut. I worked my way down to about 16 to 1,800 calories when I was about 2 weeks out. So it was a third of what I used to eat before. It was difficult. Wake up tired every day, but caffeine's definitely your best friend, especially when you're dying, lacking energy. So just a lot of caffeine. The spray tan, honestly, it's 3 days before I was not happy with how I was looking. I kind of felt like Trump. Just that, that prom special, that bright orange. But 3 days it settled in really nicely, and right before I hopped on stage 2, it was great. I just went to the back. I saw all, everyone was out there warming up. They had they had bands because we aren't allowed to bring weights into the back of the bodybuilding shows. But yeah, they gave me my number. I got my test the day before. Obviously, nothing in my system that I need to be hiding from anyone. But yeah, it was definitely an experience. Standing back there, I was a little bit intimidated, but I just sort of got my confidence going and just stepped on stage and just let my mind go blank and do what I love.
Yeah, Shoutout came in 5th, first ever bodybuilding competition. That's awesome, dude.
Man, it was definitely a journey, but I'm kind of happy it's over. I've been enjoyed eating. I'm already back up. My lowest when I stepped on stage, I was 167 pounds, so I went from 207 to 167. Now I'm already back to 177. So I've been loving my food, been eating my KFC, having fun. So
a lot of weight fluctuation lately, Jay. When you were down having to do 1,600, 1,500 calories a day, were there any mood swings you experienced or anything that you had to negatively affect?
Oh yeah, I was an angry person. I was never happy with anyone. Like the smallest inconveniences would happen. My road rage would just get unbelievable. I was a miserable bastard. It's definitely something you're just constantly eating throughout the day, but it's almost like you're being teased in a way because you got to eat 1,600 calories throughout, the 12 to 15 hours that, the average person's awake. So it's like 5 or 6 really small, like an apple. Like an apple would be breakfast. And just throughout the day, small 80, 100 calorie things like rice cakes were really huge. Right before stage, 90 calorie Rice Krispie treats. Get the pump going. Salt's huge too. Those were basically what I lived off of for the 4 months that I was eating 1,600 calories. Yeah,
well, what I understand about the salt, it kind of dehydrates it a little bit extra, so you get a little pump. Is that right, or what's the whole salt aspect? I've always been trying to understand that.
So the sodium, when it gets ingested into your bloodstream, it actually helps your veins pop out more, and it gives you that boosted vascularity that a lot of people are looking for when they hopped on stage. So I saw a lot of people backstage, the pink Himalayan salt, just eating spoonfuls of it, throwing it on. You'd see some disgusting things people are eating back there, man. I saw someone eating a rice cake with salt and like some sauce that's just not supposed to be on a rice cake. It wasn't peanut butter. I don't know what the hell it was, but it was brown and it looked gross.
That's what you have to do to get to the top level if you want. You have to just abuse your body a little bit.
The man who came in first, so shout out Justin. You're an animal, bro.
Yeah, I gotta find out what that brown sauce was, dude. Maybe it's a secret. Yeah.
The anabolic, the secret stuff.
When you had to get the test, obviously you knew you were gonna come back clean.
Yeah.
You know what you put in your body. But there's that 1 second where you're like, what if something comes back?
It's like when you get pulled over. Yeah, it's like when you get pulled over, like for having something stupid, like having your lights off. You sit and you just think about your whole life. You're like, oh my God, what did I do? Like, am I gonna get in trouble? Like, I'm screwed. So it's kind of like that. I was sitting in the chair. He's asking me questions. He's like, I'm getting a polygraph and I'm getting my test ran at the same times. So it was really uncomfortable. This just big ass dude sitting on the other side of the screen asking me all these questions. He was scary man. So it was terrifying. I always, was going through my head like, oh my god, what if it magically just appeared?
Yeah.
But,
you gotta imagine for that guy, he's always sitting there. Some people will come in, fail the test. He has to be the one who tells them that they're not gonna be competing. He's gotta be a big guy, dude. So yeah, if someone's on steroids and getting told they can't compete, there's gonna be some anger that comes with it. You need that guy there.
For sure.
People. Yeah, so going out throughout this process, did you have to have some nights where you said, I can't go out and party and I have to go in the gym, I have to keep my calories this, or how'd that kind of affect your social life?
I always try to keep a healthy balance because being a college student is important to, make friends. Networking is the number one most important thing, especially when you're trying to make it in an industry like, fitness. So I've met a lot of people along the way. A majority of my friends actually came from the gym. So I did go out and, party on occasion, but, if we were drinking, everything's 90 calories or less,
One thing that's pretty cool, you were talking about connections a little bit. You were telling me before the show started that you might want to become a personal trainer one day and that you're trying to get your certification right now. How's that process been?
It's, it's expensive to start it out, but it's definitely, it's worth its weight in the end. I've, for the past 2 years, I've just been really interested in, teaching myself more about fitness. And now it's just sort of been a thing that I just want to, let out and show to others. And that's why I made my fitness pages, and I sort of just throw random information online to help other people who were sort of at that position that I was in, like confused, sort of just listening to random people walking around a Planet Fitness like a lost child. So I like to, go out and sort of help people out. So I think that it'd be a great gig for me to help make some extra money and to also learn more about the gym, stuff that, I possibly didn't know before. I'm looking at getting it done at ISSA. It's where a majority of the people at the places I'm looking at get their certifications, or it's where they get hired from. So I'm looking forward to it. It's just the beginning of the process currently, but it's going to be about 8 weeks, so I should be certified by August.
Yeah, I imagine that learning the intricacies of it helps you bodybuild, helps you help other people. Is one of the things drawing you to it a little bit the fact of helping other people get to where they want to be? Is that kind of one of the things that cross your mind?
Absolutely. I know how it feels to not be happy with, what you look like and, the problems that can sort of come from it as a result. And I just think it's, a really important thing that everybody needs to be, happy with themselves. And it's really not, that much of a process once you fall in love with it. It sucks until you start to see that, that first arm vein, or that first, that first small little piece of your rib cage sticking out. That's it's like the best feeling in the world. It's life-changing for a lot of people. So I understand that it's not for everyone, but for those people who are interested in making a better change for themselves, I like to sort of guide them along the way and help them with the basic knowledge before they sort of do the research themselves, or find someone, if it's really, if they're really loving it that much, find someone else to help take the reins for them.
Yeah, I think that just being happy with your body, being happy with how you are is just so integral to being actually happy overall in life. That's a massive thing. It was your fitness pages. One thing that you do on them, you help out other people by showing where you started and where you are now. It's not something where you just show the final product. Mm-hmm. How has that aspect been for? What kind of drew you towards showing where I came from instead of just showing how I am now, showing the embarrassing side of it?
Because it's a journey for everyone. No one comes out of the womb looking like C-Bum. It's the reality of it, and for a lot of people, those physiques that they see, on TikTok especially, that's a killer for a lot of people. They see all these, these gorgeous women or these men with these, the huge muscles and the six-pack abs and just shredded, and they just think that after like a year or so's time, they can attain that naturally, and it's just not the truth. So I like to show sort of where I started versus where I am, to show people that, what you have now, what you hate so much, some people, would die to look how you look. And if you are unhappy with yourself, you can never progress. So sort of making people see that everyone's different at the start of their journey, but at the end, everyone can reach that same result as long as they put in the effort.
Completely agree. Was there a point where you felt yourself become happy with how you looked during the journey that you can really pinpoint? It's a tough one. I know it goes progressively. It's not something where it's just one day you wake up happy, but I want to know if there's some area.
I guess it's sort of, it never really came the satisfaction, honestly, still. But definitely the small milestones, like the like hitting certain weights and the hitting certain body weights and perfecting the the specific pose you've been trying to work on. Just all the little things I sort of get my instead of looking at the overall picture of what I look like, I like to sort of go individually and see like where my weaknesses are, where I can improve, and then find satisfaction in those improvements when, you know, I feel like it's on par with the rest of my overall physique.
Yeah, it's very tough. There's plateaus in lifting. There's body dysmorphia. There's so many different aspects that come with it. Is there something in particular that you do not to get caught up in the mental side of it?
A huge thing is getting my energy up before the long car rides, take the long way to the gym, get that music going. It's a life changer. You know, improving yourself every day is a lot more satisfactory than trying to become this, you know, this perfect, beautiful god of a human within a set amount of time. It's all about the journey.
The fact that you're talking about just blasting the music on the car ride. I went to the gym a couple days ago. I was feeling awful, Jay. It was sitting there. I can barely do it. Just stared off in the woods, turned the music up as loud as possible, and just had no thoughts for a good 2 minutes. Walked in the gym, had one of the best lifts I've had.
Absolutely. That's how it is. Especially the clear mind is so important too. Like overthinking is just a killer for everyone. Overthinking just ruins lifts, it ruins confidence, and it's important to just go out there and just pretend like you don't know anybody in the gym. A lot of people keep other people who are in the gym that they know from starting their journey, and I think that's ridiculous. Obviously, you know, when I started, I saw people who I knew, and I saw people who were bigger than me, and I looked at it as a competition, but over time, instead of looking at it as a competition, I sort of looked at it as inspiration. Like this was something that they decided to do. They obviously didn't look like that their whole life, and I sort of looked at that as a goal to try to achieve versus something that I should try to compete against.
Yes, I probably need to adopt that a little bit more, because sometimes you see a guy who's right next to your weight, but he's a tiny bit bigger than you. I'm gonna lift more than this guy right now.
Exactly.
He's the gym rivals.
You see the guy bench pressing 225 for 5, so you throw 230 on the bar and give the worst rep of your life just to say you did more. I get it.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, stare him down after a walk. He doesn't even know who you are, but for some reason you're making a whole thing for no reason. That's how it goes every time.
No, exactly. And it's just so much, like, you get so much more out of it just by going up to the guy and asking him, like, hey, like, what do you do versus, and, you know, learning from people in the gym. You want to learn from those big guys, those big girls, not be intimidated by them. And, you know, there's a lot of nice people in the gym. There were a lot of, you know, every big person on the inside is someone who was scared to talk to someone else at one point, was scared to approach the big guy. So it means a lot more to those people than you think, just asking them for help. It makes their day, and you get some extra knowledge out of it as well. That's just far beyond bodybuilding too, just in general with any sports, whether if you're a football player, if you're a volleyball player, basketball, whatever. Going up to someone who you see, you know, if you're a high school player or if you're a college player and you recognize someone who's a collegiate athlete or a pro athlete, just instead of looking at, you know, watching the film and stuff's important, but getting into how they train in the weight room, that's where they get all their power from. You can only learn so much technique when it comes to, you know, being explosive and being powerful in your sports. A lot of it comes from the gym. You got to get after it.
Are there any unique things that kind of stand out in your mind as a defining moment in your life throughout the last few years of lifting?
Definitely stepping on stage, man. So I actually had no idea until I had stepped off stage, but I was on stage with someone who I really look up to. His name's Shizzy Lifts on Instagram. Had a total conversation with him. He has the same tattoo that I do. So we were sort of just talking about, you know, the anime that we watch and stuff. Super great guy. But that was definitely a big moment. Stepping on stage with someone who, you know, years ago I idolized, I looked up to. And now sharing the stage with him as we were both stepping on stage for the first time. It was an unbelievable feeling.
Is there any chance you remember what place he came in?
He came in first in every category.
Damn. Wow.
But at the very end, because bodybuilding is split into an A class and a B class. It's by height, not by weight or anything else. Yeah. So he was the A class winner, and the B class winner was the Justin guy who won the show overall and became a professional. But I stayed for the pose down. It was unbelievable. They were just. Justin was about 5'8". They were about the same weight, but Sean was 6'3". He was just unbelievable physiques, the both of them. Just naturally, I can't believe that. Just you can see you can see the work and the passion on them as they were stepping on stage and really getting into their pose, and it was awesome to see. It was dope. They were loving it.
So instead of a shoot off, what they have in bodybuilding is a pose off?
Yeah, they do. They take the two top sort of performers in each of the open categories, the A and the B class, and they let them step on stage and they just let them pose. And that's how they decide who gets their pro card. Or at least that's how it was in my show. I know in some shows it's different than others.
That has to be the most exciting moment of the entire show, right? Or is that accurate to say? Or?
Yeah, it is. It's like the Super Bowl of bodybuilding. It's just watching the two biggest guys in the entire room just get up there and, you know, show everyone what they got and really work on the poses that aren't mandatory, because when you step on stage with everyone else, they make you do a select number of poses. When you're up there, you can just do whatever the hell you want. So they were just they were having fun. That's the best part of the pose off at the end, is they just get up there and they have fun.
Yeah, so how difficult was it for you to learn poses when you had to learn that? That's an aspect a lot of people don't think about when they're talking about bodybuilding.
Yeah. So another thing I also do is I like to show the videos of me posing when I first started at the gym, because it is some of the most disgusting, atrocious things you'll ever see. Getting a posing coach definitely helps. I went to a posing coach for just honestly one session. I went when I was in the Boston area where I go to school, and I stopped by this place called Gym Hub, and they got a lot of pros going around there who are just actual professional bodybuilders, like IFBB, stuff like that. And they have posing clinics, and also the place where OCB, the place where I stepped on stage, they also had online Zoom sort of posing clinics. So I did a couple of each, and everyone's proportions are different. So it really just comes down to finding, your perfect. Everyone's hips are a certain width, everyone's arms are different. So just finding that perfect stance, depending on which pose you're doing, it's different for everyone. It definitely takes some time to get the hold of, but having fun while you're doing it, that's the most important part. You gotta, a smile just adds to the physique that much more.
Is there a certain pose that you like the most? I've seen the vacuum one you like a lot. So
yeah.
What would you say?
I definitely like the vacuum. I think it worked well with my proportions on stage. I wasn't really feeling my my core before I stepped on stage. I felt like my abs weren't popping as much as I wanted to, so I went with the vacuum. But I really been digging the side chest too. I've been working on doing both left and right sides. So the left side's it's looking ugly right now, but the right side's definitely improving.
Where do you think the future of bodybuilding will be?
I honestly think it's making a huge comeback. You go online and just the influencers and everyone who's posting about how to improve themselves, and there's just a world of people who are trying to help others improve, and I think it's only a matter of time before bodybuilding sort of gets back to that golden Arnold Schwarzenegger age, where you had these huge people who were just putting 100% of everything they had into all their lifts, and we're really getting back to it. I see people, in a commercial, I go to a commercial gym, and I see people who are, on certain machines, like, crying, like, trying to squeeze out those last 3 reps, and I love to see it. I honestly think that we're, within the next 10 years, we're going to have some real freaks step on stage, and it's going to bring back the world of bodybuilding for sure.
I'm hoping so too. People like C-Bum, who you mentioned earlier, he's bringing so much attention to the sport. Bradley Martin's one. He started off in the bodybuilding world. That's where it began. Steve will do it started off in the bodybuilding world. A lot more people in a lot bigger spheres were bodybuilders. Mm-hmm. I think that's the future. I think one thing too, Arnold Schwarzenegger showed that's not just bodybuilding. You can go into acting. You can go into politics. He was the governor of California.
Yeah.
What is something that you hope for in the future with your life that's not just bodybuilding related?
Honestly, just making a change in the world in general. I mean, whatever I do, I honestly, I have no idea what I want to do with my life. Just switch majors. I don't know if this is going to be something that I stay into, being in construction management, but whatever it is, whatever I figure out what I want to do in life, I just hope that I can sort of, bring joy into people's lives and just do whatever I can to help people's lives improve in whatever way, whether if I'm dealing with technology, whether if I am a bodybuilder, or whether if I'm a YouTuber, or, whatever direction life takes me, just to help others just be happy with whatever I'm doing.
What is one thing that you would like to kind of not be stereotyped about the bodybuilding world, would you say?
Honestly, that they're stupid.
Yeah.
I talk to some people who are at the gym, and, they're dressed like you would expect, like wearing the stringers and the short shorts, and, they got the short hair, and they look like they have maybe 5 collective brain cells in their entire skull. And you go to talk to them, there are some smart people in there, dude. Like, it really doesn't click until, you ask them about what they do and just how much knowledge they have about the human body and life itself. Just, a lot of these older guys who are in the gym, a lot of these bigger guys, they've lived a full life. So just the general wisdom that they can give you and the stuff that they've learned it's worth a lot more.
Are there any lessons in particular?
A big thing was the one guy who told me that I needed to eat on top of lifting weight in order to gain weight. So I can't remember his name, but shout out to that guy. He's definitely a big help. It took me a while for me to get a hold of that one. Another big thing is just the whole find satisfaction in yourself. I mean, if you're constantly looking up at someone instead of looking in the mirror and finding out what's wrong, you'll never improve. You need to beat yourself yesterday in order to reach that golden prize. You know, for me in particular, it's the Olympia. I would love to get on stage at the Olympia one day and, you know, win it naturally. Now, is it possible? I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Are there any other smaller goals that you're hoping to reach as milestones before that?
I'm waiting until next year. Or probably going to give myself 12 to 18 months before my next show. But I'm thinking the Cutler Classic. I'm really excited for it. I'm already starting the prep for it. Now it's going to be 220 down to 195. Hopefully step on stage and feel great.
Well, one thing I've been noticing is you have a really positive mindset. And to be honest, neither of us really had that a few years ago.
Yeah.
What is something that drove that positive mindset?
A big thing of it is just taking every day, day by day, and just trying to make the most of it. You know, if you really want to be satisfied and be happy with yourself, you need to, you know, you got to wake up in those early mornings. And when you hear that alarm go off, you can't roll and hit the snooze button, because then you're just going to get that much less done. You got to just put all of your energy into your day. This is the best time to do everything at our age. And doing everything, I mean, when I came into college, I joined some clubs I didn't think I was ever going to join. Like I joined chess club. The hell? But I'm sort of doing everything and, you know, meeting new people and having that different crowd of people to sort of, you know, find that specific passion. And when you find it, you just gotta run away with it. Junior year, when I was going out at Attleboro to try to play basketball and catching COVID during tryouts and, you know, thinking everything was over. That was one thing that I really took for granted, was my ability to go out there and play. And it took me out about 4 months where I was just sedentary and I couldn't do anything. And it was a horrible, horrible time, especially over the time of COVID. So just being thankful in general that just for anything that I'm able to do. I wake up in the morning, and a big mentality change just for anyone watching this is, instead of saying like I have to, saying I can. Like instead of waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning and saying, oh, damn it, I have to go to the gym. I get to go to the gym. I get to go to work. There's a lot of people who don't have an opportunity to work. And instead of looking at it like I have to, looking at it as a get to, and it's a privilege. You know, I thank God every day that I have, you know, 2 working legs, 2 working arms, and, you know, a roof over my head, food on the table, especially enough food to feed me. You know, I'm very thankful to God, very thankful to my parents, very thankful to just the general supporting cast I have around me. It's a great time to be happy. And if you're going to be happy at any time in life, get it going now.
You know Bill Burr, the comedian, right?
Yeah, of course.
He has a fan mail thing where it's called the Monday Morning Podcast. He'll have fan mail come in. He'll basically answer people's questions. It's a really cool concept for a podcast. This was a 19-year-old who had sent him an email talking about how life kind of sucks. Everything's just negative. He said, man, you're 19. You're going to be 44 years old one day. You're going to have a wife. You're going to have kids. You're going to get stressed out. You're going to sometimes think, damn, if I could be alone right now, if I could do what I want when I want, I would kill for that. You choose what you do. Use it.
Yeah.
Don't waste it.
Starting to look at your day as a 2/3, 1/3 sort of thing. If you just split your day up into thirds, you know, you have the average American. I'd safe to say the average American works about 40 hours a week. Is that safe to say? About 8 hours a day. So if you take that 8 hours that you need for work and you take that 6 to 8 that you need for sleep, you have that other 8 to 10 hours to do whatever you want. And a lot of people don't realize that they have 8 to 10 hours in their day because they spend all of it on TikTok and stuff, and they, you know, they're out with friends. And time does fly when you have fun, but it's important to, you know, keep just 1 hour. That's all I did when I started going to the gym. I was not, you know, definitely not having those 2-3 hour gym sessions that I have now. It all started with just 30 minutes that I had, you know, just periodically after lunch, like 1 o'clock, going to the Planet Fitness, you know, running on the treadmill with the moms for a half hour and then leaving. And that's really all it starts. It's just those short pieces of time that none of us realize we have, just making the most of it.
Yeah, if you really want to just be freaked out, look at your screen time on your phone. I did that. I started adding limits to it. You never realize it's a whole algorithm. It's designed so that you do that and you don't even notice it. You're constantly swiping. And as you said, 1 hour. How much is that to really ask? And even if you don't like it at first, do it the next day. Still don't really like it, do it one more time. You do it 4 to 5 times, it's part of a routine for you.
For sure.
You keep doing it, and it's just got to keep building on top of each other.
Another thing I actually wanted to throw out there, sort of relating to that, is one of my favorite things that I was taught in high school at being was from Coach King, and he told me, like, when we used to run sprints on the basketball team, we used to dread these things called 17s. So you start at the sort of the side of the baseline, and you run up, that's 1, and back, that's 2, and you have to do 17 of them in under, sometimes it was a minute 15, sometimes 1:05. Robert Palmer, and if you're watching this, you know. But sort of, we all hated it because we're like, oh, this is so damn long. Like, none of us want to do this. But he sort of made us look at it in a different way. He said it's one TV ad, one advertisement on television. That's how long we were running for. And it felt like an eternity. But it really goes to show that falling in love with something makes the time go by that much faster. I used to feel like I was in the gym for my entire day, and I was just in there for 20 to 30 minutes. And now I'm going through 15, 20 workout exercise or gym days, and taking an extra 20 minutes to sit in the sauna, and an extra 20 to work on my posing, and an extra 20 for cardio, like just ridiculous amounts of time, and it feels like it's just going by like that.
Jay, our time is beginning to run out, so I'm going to let you have this little area. Any shout outs you want to give, anything that you want to say to anybody in the audience, anything at all, floor is yours right now.
All right. It's been a pleasure being on the show. Follow my Instagram at Jay2Weak, JAY2WEAK. I post all of my fitness related content on there. It's really been a pleasure being here. Shout out to Coach King, shout out to my parents, shout out to all the boys that have been pushing me, have been going to the gym with me, and have also woken up at those disgusting, 5 a.m. lifts just to be with me on my journey. And I love all you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, well, this was episode 28 of the Joe Does Hour with Jay Paulette. It was so nice seeing you again, man.
It was nice seeing you too, bro.
Me and Jay have been good friends for a long time. Good friend of the Joe Does Hour now as well. Thank you so much for coming on. I will see you all in episode 29.